New World over the last year has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that players are more than willing to return and more than willing to start the game for the first time. And that's something that I have been looking for, to see in the player base, to see in how people are playing and coming back and starting this game as a ultimate sign of health, and to marry that with what the devs have been doing, communicating to the players, answering in the hard questions, diving into our feedback, and delivering us a roadmap that really is something to be excited about. And then there's also the mystery, the things that they have confirmed that are coming, and the things that they have kind of hinted at that are maybe a little bit secret or a little bit of a surprise. So I think 2023 is going to be a magnificent year for New World. And if you are on the fence, if you are watching this video trying to decide if you want to jump into the game or if you want to return to the game, well, let me answer the question for a returning player. You own the game. It costs you absolutely nothing to jump back in. There is no subscription fee. There are no hidden fees. There is nothing to say you can't just download the game and jump right back in. And in fact, if you do, check out the channel homepage in my player guide section. I've got videos to get you right back up to speed to welcome you back into this game. But the rest of this video, I'm going to talk to kind of new players who maybe have heard things that are disappointing or some, things that are bad about the game from many different content creators. New World has had its struggles, and New World has had people rooting for it to fail, but yet the devs persist on. And I think that's something that is a real big takeaway for this game, and why 2023 is going to be one of the best years that we have seen for MMOs, but also one of the best years for New World alone. But with all that being said, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian if you're new around here, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for checking out this video. It really means a lot. I hope you get a lot out of it. You can always sound off in the comments, Soul Nation, if you're already subscribed. But if this is the video that gets you to subscribe, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support. This last year alone, you got me over to 10,000 subscribers. Who knows where we'll go in 2023. So it's going to be a fun adventure regardless. Now, if you like this video, if this video earns your like, thank you. And here's a picture of an awesome tiger for doing so. It really does help these videos out algorithmically, and I appreciate you all so much. But we're going to hone in on you new players. There's a lot to like about this game. It's an action MMORPG with no subscription fee. And that's actually kind of a big takeaway. I think at the start, it had people kind of worried about it financially. Like, well, if Amazon's not making enough money, they're just going to pull the plug on it. But New World is actually kind of one of their bigger pillars of strategy here, because what people see with them doing with New World helps build out trust. The other thing about it, the hidden secret, is that New World actually is a subscription-based game, but you don't have to have the subscription. It's called Amazon Prime Gaming. They use and do that and use that program so much to kind of give players some really cool rewards just for having Amazon Prime. And we're going to see that kind of integrated into their entire strategy as we see them launch Blue Protocol. We're already seeing it with Lost Ark. And at the time of this recording, I don't know, they haven't made any official announcements, but there's some more games that are on the horizon. They're going to take advantage of that. So there is kind of a subscription, but it isn't just to one game. Also on that is that as we look at the state of the game, as we look at this last fall with the Brimstone Sands launch, we've seen them really deliver on a ton of content. A lot of really exciting battles, a lot of really exciting open world stuff, and the things that players have been asking for have either been added into the game or have been put on a roadmap, and most of that has been shared with us. What are they adding to the game? Well, for me personally, they're going to be building in controller support native. Now, I do controller guides. You know what I would love to do? Native controller guides, because that would make it so much a better experience. When you play on Steam Deck, you want to play on GeForce Now, you want to play wherever you want to play, and you can. That's the power of what this game can do, especially with a controller. Speaking of which, if you're just on the fence and you're like, yes, this is a PC only MMO at the time of this recording, I'm not going to get into rumors and speculation too much in this video, but just note that you can also play this game on GeForce Now. It runs fantastically. You can play it on Shadow PC. It runs fantastically. I'll be publishing kind of my thoughts on cloud gaming over on my other channel, Ginger Prime, as we look at 2023 here in the near future. So if you guys are interested in those options, be sure to go check out Ginger Prime. But on that note, we know that we know cross server is playing. Now, the biggest detractor, the biggest thing I can tell you about the disadvantage of this game, as honest and frank and direct as possible, the server architecture, how they have it, because they do not have crossplay at the time of this recording, is one of its biggest limiting and frustrating factors. The fact that you have to pick a server that has a huge impact on the content you can do, that in and of itself has to change. And the good news is it is changing. It's just not going to change anytime until the summer of 2023. So if you're watching this video, it's summer 2023, I've got good news for you. But if you're going into the springtime, note that we're still having to wait for that. But we're also getting things like a raid. We're also getting mounts. We're also getting leaderboards, gear loadouts, transmog. All of these are coming to the game. Now, I don't know if each and every one of these things will hit in 2023. We do know that the team that is working on the gear set system is also going to be the team working on the controller support. And since gear set's scheduled for this spring, I expect that we'll see the controller support trickle in some point in time. We want to make sure that they get it right, because I think that's going to have a huge bearing on the game's success long term, because it's going to make it really, really accessible in the long term. But I just listed off a ton of content. When we just look at the roadmap, we see the spring and we see the summer. We see a brand new spring event with, I forget what it's called. We'll just say the springtime event. And then we also see the summer event with Summer Medley Fair returning. The seasonal events that they have in this game have been really good. I've really enjoyed them and appreciated them as a player who really is probably maybe addicted to this game too much. So note that there is definitely a hint of bias from this gamer who absolutely loves this. But let me tell you a little bit about me. If this is in fact your first time to the channel, if this is in fact you're still here listening and curious if you should step into this game, because if the monetary doesn't get it for you, if the gameplay that doesn't deliver for you, here's the truth of it. I got 5 kids and I've got one on the way. Like I'm a very lucky man. I have a great family and I can play New World around them. It's not a game that's gonna scare them away, which is cool because they really enjoy it. They call it Dad's Halloween game because they love it when I fight the Lost out in Brightwood. It ends up always being that I'm in Brightwood whenever they're watching me. I don't know. Maybe it's a conspiracy, but this is a game that I feel like I can balance my time with the game, and my time with the family, and my time at work. You can put more time into it than I do. A lot of people who have taken my recommendation to play this game have played it more than I have had the ability to. And it makes me really happy to see that people can really get lost and absorbed, because this world is so inviting. But it also is a world that it doesn't make you feel bad for not playing. And I love playing video games. I absolutely do. And I try to dabble in my hands in several of them. And New World has that ability for you to get lost. I say this with all sincerity, especially in the age where WoW defined what a lot of people think an MMO is. New World's endgame begins at level 1. And if that doesn't make sense to you, I'd invite you to check out some of my other guides. Everything you do in this game will give you value. There is not a sprint to level 60 so you can get into the hardest and coolest content. You can do that. The game's not going to stop you. But you can also get lost. You can step into this world in this game and experience something truly special. A game that will invite you into doing way more things if you let it. And you can take your time to get to level cap, or you can rush, or you can do a mix. You can get involved with the community. You can check out our Discord if you want to jump into the game itself. All of these things are open invitations. We tend to play this game together on Friday nights. You're always welcome to come hang out and join and ask questions, even if you're not ready to spend the money. And especially also pay attention to the channel, because when they announce sales and discounts, I try to make sure that that information is readily available. But at $40, I have over 600 something hours on the main server, over hundreds of hours on the PTR test server. And there are people who've doubled and tripled me for $40. And it's like, when you start to calculate from a dollar per hour of joy, there isn't any other game out there that I can say that can deliver on that much value for that much fun. Now, maybe New World isn't going to be your game. Like if If you don't like the combat, I can understand it. It's an action-based combat system. It's got a lot of different weapons. I'd say if you've already bought in the game and you're maybe not liking the combat, switch up your weapons, switch up your playstyle. I think you're going to find something special there. But focusing it at hand, maybe the game doesn't necessarily resonate with you. There's nothing wrong with you if that's the case. No harm, no foul. You gave it a shot. I would argue that at $40, and especially if you find it on sale, because usually it goes on, sometimes it goes on sale for $20, it's easily well worth the risk. And I'm glad there's an upfront cost. I've seen people try to advocate that this game needs to go free to play. But the nature of the game and the beauty of the game and what kind of really makes the game kind of function is that there's at least a barrier for entry. We see tons of bots. We could see a lot of accounts that are just fake. You could see a lot of, like, I think that would hurt the community more if there wasn't a barrier for entry, because at least there's something that players are going to risk. Because the world is alive here in New World. You can really get absorbed in the environment and the lore, and just seeing people out in the open world. It feels like it's a blending of the old along with some of the features of the new. It doesn't sacrifice it doesn't sacrifice enjoyment for the sake of convenience. And at the same time, it's convenient enough that you can jump in for a little bit, get lost for a while if you want, and not necessarily feel like you always got to be on that grind. And that's something that's kind of important. And they've struck this as a really unique balance. And that's why New World is easily worth it in 2023. If you have any questions about it, if you have any concerns, like, I'm here to help answer those questions and help educate you about the game itself. And I hope that if you're still on the fence and you do decide to try it, you let me know one way or the other, whether you liked it or you didn't. And that's the best thing that we can do. We can keep talking about these awesome games. Anyway, guys, I don't want to waste your time. I appreciate you hanging out with me all the way here to the end. If you made it to the end of this video, sound off in the comments with Soul Nation. Is it worth it? Yes or no? What's your answer? Is it worth it in 2023? Sound off. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, sound off and know in the comments. Be sure to try and get to those to you directly or in a follow-up video. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But until then, take care.